sled dog races,
and the Mitten State debate continues. I'm Caitlin Connon.
And I'm Heidi Rabatoy. This is your Public Eye News at 4. This Friday night, February 17th, will be dedicated to sled dogs in downtown Marquette. The Midnight Run Sled Dog Race has 30 teams with 8 dogs on each team. It will be starting at 7:10 p.m. on Washington Street. Traditionally, the UP 200 has started from Marquette, but due to lack of snow on parts of the trail, this year's start will be in Chatham. Both the UP 200 and Midnight Run will officially start from Chatham. On Sunday, the UP 200 will end in Grand Marais, and the Midnight Run will end Saturday in Munising. Mushers will take designated routes around downtown Marquette, and then the dog teams will be loaded and officially start from Chatham. Tech's 90th annual Winter Carnival has wrapped up this past weekend. Houghton had a scare last week when temperatures spiked into the 40s, but the traditional events were still able to play out. The most popular event, Broom Ball, was a success with hours of tournaments on Saturday. Also, there were over 60 ice sculptures created by student groups and organizations. Some groups entered a competition which allowed them 1 month to complete their creation, while others took part in the all-nighter competition. Both were judged Friday morning. Sculptures will be kept up until warm weather starts to melt them. Then they will be knocked down for safety.
The name of a charity funded primarily by former Borders employees has changed its name and mission. The former Borders Group Foundation has changed its name to the Book Industry Charitable Foundation and is now assisting book industry workers. After Borders began failing, the foundation considered a few options, including shutting down. The foundation has distributed more than $5 million in assistance since it started and has about $4 million in assets. Tourist officials in Michigan and Wisconsin engaged in a friendly competition in December over which state better resembled a mitten. About a week later, the states announced the start of the Great Lakes Mitten Campaign. The Wisconsin Department of Tourism says that at least 3,100 pairs of mittens and other winter items have been donated and given to more than 50 charities. Some people even took time to make mittens by hand.
President Barack Obama is requesting $300 million to continue funding a vast Great Lakes environmental cleanup program for the 2013 fiscal year. During the first 3 years of Obama's presidency, Congress approved more than $1 billion for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. The program hopes to make progress on issues pressing the Great Lakes, including toxic pollution, farm and urban runoff, invasive species, and loss of wildlife habitat. Environmental groups, scientists, state officials, and others in the region came together to highlight the issues they wanted the program to address. The program has assisted in preventing Asian carp from invading the Great Lakes as well. Wisconsin's sturgeon spearing season on Lake Winnebago is expected to last the season's entire 16 days. State Department of Natural Resources Ron Brooks said 27 sturgeon were speared on Sunday to bring the weekend total to 66 on the lake. He also said the cold weather has slightly improved conditions. On the upriver lakes, activity was better, Brooks said. People there speared 242 fish Saturday and Sunday, and they closed the season Sunday. The 2 days is the shortest season since the lottery fishery began in 2007. A record number of licenses were sold this season, but according to Brooks, many people are staying away because of ice conditions. And after the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
A man was murdered overnight on Chicago's South Side.
The violence interrupters had one goal in mind: to save a life. Most of the violence interrupters come from the hierarchy in some of these gangs.
My best friend got killed. I could get shot tomorrow.
How can you help me right now?
This is unacceptable for me to be holding this young man's obituary. Stop.
We're trying to stop the violence. That's it and that's all.
Join us Tuesday evening at 9.
Debbie Stabenow visited GS Engineering in Houghton as part of her visit to Winter Carnival last week. Stabenow, a co-sponsor of the efforts to extend the Federal Small Business Innovation Research Program, supported the company's nomination for a Small Business Award. Through the program, GS Engineering has earned 12 phase awards, where they tested the feasibility of their products. Only about 10% of the companies continue to phase 2, but GS Engineering has done this with 10 products. The company has also gotten 5 products to phase 3, where they find outside funding to put their product on the market. Because of their hard work, GS Engineering has been able to create additional jobs in both engineering and manufacturing. Investigators say it could be weeks before toxicology tests reveal what caused the death of Whitney Houston. The singing legend was found dead in her hotel room on the eve of the Grammys. The morning's coroner's office spoke with reporters. Bagad Shaban has the very latest from Los Angeles.
Yes. The family of Whitney Houston is making arrangements to pick up the superstar's body from the coroner's office.
I don't know when the family is going to have her body picked up. Sometimes it takes a couple days.
Officials performed an autopsy Sunday, but it could be weeks before investigators know the exact cause of death. The music world gave a heartfelt tribute to the legendary singer at the Grammys. Jennifer Hudson moved the audience with Houston's signature song, "I Will Always Love You." Backstage, artists like Lady Antebellum recalled the impact the icon had on them.
Learning to sing and trying to figure out how to do runs to her songs.
Houston was found dead in the bathtub of her hotel room at the Beverly Hilton on Saturday night. Law enforcement officials tell CBS News there were prescription drugs found in Houston's hotel room, but no illegal substances. Toxicology results could take 6 to 8 weeks.
I had a conversation with the family at the hotel, and at no time did I discuss prescription meds or the drowning issue.
Drugs eventually sidelined Houston's career, but at her peak, her powerful voice made her one of the world's best-selling artists.
And it's a combination of amazing emotion, but also the instrument that can deliver that emotion.
The family has not yet said where Houston will be laid to rest.
A judge overseeing the child sex abuse case of Jerry Sandusky has ruled that the former Penn State assistant coach can see most of his grandchildren while he awaits trial. To hear Sandusky's case, the judge ruled on Monday that he can use a jury chosen from the state college area. Sandusky sought eased bail restriction, which would allow him to see his grandchildren. The judge said Sandusky can see his grandchildren under their parental supervision, with the exception of 3 grandchildren subject of custody litigation. The judge also denied prosecutors' request to have Sandusky confined to his home after hearing complaints from neighbors. The Attorney General's office asked for an out-of-county jury for trial, but instead the judge decided on a local jury. Angry demonstrations in Greece turned into riots overnight as protesters lost their budget battle against lawmakers. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Crews cleaned up the streets of Athens after crowds rioted overnight. There is still widespread anger in Greece after the government decided on drastic new spending cuts. Protesters burned dozens of buildings in the capital Sunday. Hundreds took on riot police, pelting them with rocks and firebombs. Others tore out ATMs and smashed store windows. Despite the violence, the parliament passed measures to help secure a new loan and save Greece from bankruptcy. The finance minister told politicians they must save the country. He said the citizens won't forgive us if we don't. But the plan slashes more than 20% off the minimum wage, and 1 in every 5 government workers will lose their job over the next 3 years. Unemployment in Greece is already over 20%. Markets reacted positively. The Athens Stock Exchange rose 5% Monday. As Greece braces for more protests, European Union finance chiefs will meet on Wednesday to decide whether to approve the massive bailout package. But the Greek government must convince European lenders it will stick to the plan. The first round of cuts in 2010 failed to stop the country's rising debt. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
And after the break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
a nova.
You're driven by what is down there.
Divers plunge into seductive underwater caves.
They're descending into an alien environment.
And they're coming up big.
We're finding species that nobody knew existed.
But there's a price.
This is the most dangerous sport on Earth.
Extreme cave diving, a Nova National Geographic special.
Wednesday evening at 9.
And welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Trent Potscale with your weather forecast. We've had some beautiful temperatures outside, and we're going to continue to see that the rest of the week. But heading into the weekend, we're going to see the cool down. Currently outside, we see partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 33, winds out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour, and a barometric pressure 29.82 and falling. For tonight, we're going to see mostly cloudy skies, a low temperature of 27 with the winds out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies again with a high of 36 and the winds out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour. Taking a look currently around the area, we have 34 in the Sioux, 30 in Manistee, 30 in Escanaba, 27 in Menominee, 33 in Iron Mountain, 30 in Ironwood, 30 up in Houghton, and 33 back here in Marquette. Taking a look at the week ahead, Wednesday we're going to see partly cloudy skies with a high of 37 and a low of 31. Thursday, a few snow showers with a high of 34 and a low of 26. And Friday, again, a few snow showers with a high of 31 and a low of 20. So the weather's been pretty warm, pretty good lately. How are the women's basketball teams doing?
Yes, Trent, the basketball teams didn't fare quite as well as the weather over the weekend. The women's basketball team was home last Thursday against rival Lake Superior State. The Cats lost the GLIAC battle 74-69 after their second half surge came up just short. Northern fell behind by as much as 25 points in the second half before they cut the Lakers' lead to 4 with just under 2 minutes left. The Lakers were able to hit their free throws late and seal the win. Northern had beat Lake State earlier in the season 55-36. The loss put the Wildcats in the 8th and final spot for the GLIAC tournament. Northern was led by senior guard Chelsea Lyon with 21 points and 7 rebounds. Freshman guard Alyssa Kola also chipped in 14 points. The Cats are back in action this week as they travel to Ohio to take on a pair of GLIAC South opponents. The NMU men's basketball team was also at home against Lake State on Thursday, and they had a similar outcome as the women's team, losing 68-64. For the second game in a row, the Cats built a lead at half and saw it slip away during second half action. The Lakers erased their 37-28 halftime deficit with 60% shooting from the field and the three-point line in the second half. Northern, on the other hand, only shot 34% in the second half and were outscored 40-27. The Wildcats were led by senior forward DeAndre Taylor's 16 points. Freshman guard Hakeem Stampley also netted 16 points, and senior Jared Benson added 8 points and 9 rebounds. Northern is 4-11 in the GLIAC and 8-14 overall. On the professional side of sports, NFL great and controversial receiver Randy Moss has announced his plans on making a return to pro football. The 35-year-old Moss last played in 2010-2011 season and had stints with the New England Patriots, Minnesota Vikings, and Tennessee Titans. In his last season, the 13-year pro had a career low of 5 touchdowns. The 5-time Pro Bowler is 5th all-time in the NFL with 14,858 receiving yards, and his 120 touchdowns catches also ranks 5th among receivers. Moss was drafted in 1998 by the Minnesota Vikings and has had stints with 4 different teams, the last being the Tennessee Titans. Many speculate that the star receiver will have trouble landing with a team due to his controversial career and dramatic failed final season. So I hear there's a very Verizon has a natural new cell phone tower coming in.
Yes, in Hagerstown, Maryland, there's a tree that isn't sprouting cones but calls. Verizon Wireless has built its first 150-foot cell phone tower disguised as a pine tree. A local paper reports the tower is getting mixed reviews. County Historic District Commission Chairman Charles Stewart says he believes it looks a little absurd. However, Jim Stevens, who works near the tower, says that it helps the tower blend in better. And it's the biggest snowstorm of the season. More than a foot of lake effect snow piled up in Rochester, New York this past weekend. But that didn't stop nearly 1,600 people from sprinting into Lake Ontario for the annual Polar Bear Plunge fundraiser. Yesterday's chilly endeavor is expected to raise more than $200,000 for the Special Olympics.
What a great cause, but sure that would be really chilly.
They do that here too for Superior.
Well, that's all the time we have today for Public Eye News. We'll see you tomorrow at 4.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.